It is Kitty Shambliss here alongside Coach B, and I am the founder of the Loving Without Boundaries mission, the host of the podcast of the same name. And wherever you're seeing us, if you are not part of our private community, feel free to find our free private community on Facebook by doing a search for Loving Without Boundaries, Healthy Open Relationships and Lifestyle Freedom. There'll be a very short little application to fill out just to make sure that we're on the same page. And once you get inside, there will be some guidelines to stay a part of our community. And we look forward to seeing you there. So with that, I'm going to give the mic over to B to get us started on today's topic, which is gifts of gratitude. And we'll be talking about how that is relevant to when you are practicing some form of consensual non-monogamy or CNM in whatever way that makes sense to you, living your most authentic life in your corner of the world. So with that, I'll go ahead and give the mic over to you, B.
Thanks, Kitty. Happy Tuesday, everyone. And yeah, it's definitely connected to living our most authentic life from our highest self that we can imagine. And Kitty and I already covered this topic once in the past, but I find it so relevant to bring this conversation here because there's so many things that we can be navigating, or any of you who are practicing consensual non-monogamy on a daily basis, that can just throw you off balance. The logistics, the fears, the shame or guilt or possible regret, some overthinking or paralyzing intrusive thoughts, the uncertainty, the endings and new beginnings, navigating new dynamics or your old dynamic shifting to something else. And all of it just keeps happening and we can easily be thrown off balance. So it's important to have one practice that is easily accessible. It can be applied at any time of the day. Even if you have 1 minute, this can be done under 1 minute, several times a day, and it can help us get back to the present moment and get back to appreciation and counteract so many things that I just listed. And I also recently saw a definition of gratitude. So with many concepts, there are multiple definitions circling around, and I found that so I wanted to bring something different. And the definition that I found recently was something just be grateful whatever you have. If you want something different with your life, you feel like something's missing, if you have aspirational desires, keep flogging yourself back, because that means that if you want something different, that you're not grateful enough. And I'm like, that just doesn't sound right with the type of loving and abundant work that we're doing here. So let's anchor that here at Loving Without Boundaries, we talk about a type of gratitude that keeps creating gifts and abundance and expansion in your relationship. So something that can create momentum for you, that can elevate your mood, that can bring you a sense of gentle humility and appreciation for what you have, but you also stay open to the possibilities, but you also keep marching forward towards your dream. And I also want to touch on the word itself in case gratitude doesn't fit for you. I highly encourage to explore what other words you could use for this particular practice. It could be appreciation, it could be my highest values practice, it could be respect, me showing respect for my life and what's available, or abundance practices. So whatever works for you. And with that, Kitty, I want to give the mic back to you.
Thank you, B, for really shining a light on this really beautiful topic that not only makes sense in the month of November here in America when we have Thanksgiving, but any day of the year, any month of the year, and particularly during the holiday season. And as we're wrapping up 1 year and about to embark on a new year with 2026. So really great timing to dive a little bit deeper here. And this topic really holds a special place in my heart because I've told this story before, but I don't know how it's been a while, but I can definitely share with you all vulnerably that I did go through a period of my life where I struggled through depression and was having a midlife crisis. My father had passed away. My beloved cat passed away on the exact same weekend as my father. So there was just a lot of loss going on. Eventually, my husband and I found out we couldn't have our own children, our own biological children. And then also my mother passed away. And so there was just a lot of loss and grief and sadness in my life. And I didn't know if I was ever going to come out of it. I had never felt depression before. And so I was a little confused what was going on. And it took me a bit of time to figure out that I was actually navigating depression, partly from all the acute losses that I had in a relatively short amount of time. That all happened over the course of about 5 years, but those are some pretty big losses to deal with in that amount of time. And it was really learning from a conversation I was having from somebody I met kind of in a dating app sort of a period where like we hadn't even met in person. We were just chatting. And from that just shows that there's so many gifts that you can get just even from just communicating and staying open and keeping your mind open as well. And we had a conversation that just helped me have this light bulb go off in my head, this epiphany that I was spending all of my time focusing with all my energy on my losses, on all the things that I didn't have in my life. And by doing that, I was expanding that energy into sadness, into grief, into loss, because that's what I was putting my energy on. And I realized, well, okay, so what if I did the exact opposite? What if I intentionally, with all my heart, all my focus, all my soul, and my intention, started focusing on what I'm grateful for, what does bring me joy, what I'm appreciative of, from the big things to the small things. And that started with, I was grateful for the kittens I had in my life at that time. I was grateful for my health, my eyesight, my sense of taste and hearing. Those are things not to be taken for granted. Having all four of my limbs, just really taking it down to that granular level. Grateful for the food in my fridge. Grateful for my husband and his health. Grateful for the home that we live in, the beautiful neighborhood that we were able to find for ourselves. And I just started stacking and stacking and stacking all the things that I was grateful for. And over time, didn't happen overnight, didn't happen in a week, it didn't even happen in a month, but over time, it did start to slowly pull me out of my depression. And in my opinion, saved my life. So I say that with my whole heart, that spending my time with intentionality on gratitude, on what is going well in my life, literally saved my life. And so that's a true story. And I've talked about it on my podcast, on my own, as well as other people's podcasts. So it's something that's very close to my heart. And with that, I'll go ahead and give the mic back over to you, B.
I really appreciated your vulnerability, Kiri, and being a source of inspiration when it comes to gratitude practices. I can definitely relate to your experience in terms of choosing differently. Like we can go down really easily with automated negative thoughts or a focus. Like there's this saying that focus goes, energy flows. So we can go with that automated stream of negative thinking, or what's missing, what I don't have, what I don't like, or we can make this conscious, intentional choice of focusing back ourselves toward our dream. Like, what is it that's available? What is it that I really want to do? What is it that I already appreciate? And it's so important to do that pattern interrupt, that what we call like a pattern interrupt, like stop what you were experiencing and turn the focus toward something else that also helps ground into those things that actually are working in our lives. And if we don't do that, if we don't interrupt those spiraling down states, then in our relationship as well, what's going to come up is we keep the focus on what's missing, what I don't have, what I don't like about this person, what's not available in the relationship. And we're going to keep communicating through that. Like, you did this. So this is where we end up with the same old arguments, judgment and blame, and talking about the past without an end, with no resolution, and just keep finding faults in the other person. So that can really hinder our communication in our relationships as well, because we don't focus on the dream. together, but we focus on like what's missing and how you're failing me, how you're failing my expectations. So it's really important to get that stop and refocus. Okay, like what is working and what is the next best step to take right now together to move toward our dream and our goals. And you demonstrated a beautiful example here, Kiri, for us talking
Oh,
about
thanks, B. Yeah. Yeah, I
validating.
really appreciate that, and reflecting that back to me. That's really beautiful. And yeah, I can definitely also appreciate everything that you shared, that there can be anywhere from a small to a really huge negative impact when we are doing the opposite of focusing on the gifts of gratitude. As you said, it can hurt and damage our relationships and our connection with other people. It can lower our sense of satisfaction and fulfillment in our relationships. I always love to keep in mind that the most important relationship is the one that we have with ourselves. It can create distrust or hinder our communication and our ability to feel seen and heard, and to really cherish and support and see and hear our loved ones. So it really can affect everything. And again, it also can affect our sense of our own self-love, self-empathy, and self-compassion. And when we don't have that, when our cup is empty, when we're trying to live from an empty cup, that ripples out into all different areas in our lives and our relationships, and not just our intimate relationships, but also relationships with our friends, our family, our work relationships. It can literally impact everything in a negative way. But also, the opposite is true, right? And that's exactly why this topic is so incredibly important, is to know that you are empowered to choose. You're at a fork in the road, and you can choose, just like I did in the story that I told. You can choose to focus on your losses and kind of stay miserable and sad and let yourself spiral down. Sometimes that feels good, and or familiar. And sometimes we just need to move through that to feel all of our emotions. So I don't want to ever make you navigating through and feeling your emotions wrong. It's just, how long do you want to stay in those heavy emotions that can start to erode your sense of self-respect and sense of self-esteem? Eventually, it is time to rise. It's time to stand up. It's time to take that flashlight and instead focus it on what you do want, your vision of the future, your own values, your own goals, how you want to show up in your relationships. And then when you look at your partner, what do you love and appreciate about them? Why did you fall in love with them in the first place? What brings you joy in that connection? And speak to that, tell them, but also tell yourself, so that you're able to really look at things through a different lens. And I'll go ahead and give the mic back over to you there, B.
Wow, I so much love what you said. A time to rise, time to stand up and like refocus towards the dream and remember love. Gratitude helps us remember love, as you said. Like, what do I love and appreciate about this person? What do I love and appreciate myself and my journey? And as you said, it's not about sweeping things under the rug or suppressing our emotions. There's of course, if you need help with that, like professional help, then there's always help available to process that. It's about making empowered choices in our relationships so that we can stay aligned with our dreams. And I want to capture a few things that we already talked about, like what are some of the gifts of gratitude. So it interrupts our automated negative thinking or automated negative behavioral patterns. It feels great. It feels so much better than being frustrated, angry,
Yep.
upset, or blaming or judging. It helps us note and recognize what we usually overlook in our environment. And there's no shaming around that, because the brain has this deletion function as well. Like, it keeps the focus on the daily task, what we need to do. It keeps prioritizing, and it did so many experiences that we actually love about our lives. So even you can test it within your room or your immediate environment, and just look around and find 10 objects that's really meaningful to you, and connect with them, that you usually just pass by because life takes over. So you can ground yourself. So it helps us notice the things that we usually overlook. It helps us keep in this positive, hopeful anticipatory energy for the future, because if we notice like how far we have come as individuals on our relationship, on our lives, it helps us ground that type of achievement. And it gets back to our hope that, yes, I can do this. Yes, we can do this. Yes, there's more available. And it really helps us reconnect to positive memories as well. Before this live, I actually practiced this looking around in my environment and noting like 10 things. And it connected me back to positive memories that I don't usually even remember. Like, oh my God, this was so amazing how or what events happened in my life that I got my, I don't know, fitness ball or whatever is in my environment. So it creates a warm type of emotional state and momentum to carry on, to move towards our dreams. So there are so many gifts once you move to this particular practice.
Oh, so beautiful, B. And I'll add up to that too, that it can also just open up both possibility and our awareness of what actually can be possible. And that brings me to, if any of what we're saying is resonating with you, if you're realizing that you could use some help with this, if you want some help seeing what can be possible in your life, then I invite you to potentially book a call with me as a potential coach for you. And there's a link that I just put on the screen, lovingwithoutboundaries.com/apply. And if you want to see what working together could look like, if you are seeking assistance, if you are resonating with any of the messages that Coach B and I have been talking about, just go ahead to that link and that'll take you right into my calendar. Just find a time that works for you. There'll be a very short intake form for you to fill out that'll help give me a little context for our conversation. And then we'll simply jump on the call together and I will just get to know you a little bit better, make an assessment of where you are, see if you have the qualities to succeed in this type of environment that you can join. And we'll just have a conversation together on that. And so again, that's lovingwithoutboundaries.com/apply. And there are different ways you can learn how to make gratitude a habit. You're not only can be a part of our larger community that we have on Facebook, our Loving Without Boundaries community, but you can also become part of an elite, very small, intimate community of folks that have joined our family, our network of those who we've taken through our foundational coaching process that's designed to give you everything you need, the tools, the clarity, and the support so that you can live your most authentic life free from jealousy and insecurity, shame and guilt, and the pain of infidelity, and learn how to repair that so that you can feel self-love and feel unstoppable in your life. And that does include a gratitude habit. And with that, I'll give the mic back over to you, B.
Yeah, I finally have a few prompts to help with your gratitude practice, just to demonstrate like how easy it can be. For example, what worked today? What worked out? What went well? What surprised me in a positive way? What did I learn? What did I appreciate? What positive memories did I create? Where did I feel joy? Also, how did I show up in ways that most aligned with my highest values or relationship goals? How did my partner show up in accordance with our most cherished values? And like a final prompt, like what is it that I already have in my life that is a signal or a cue that shows me that I'm on the right path?
That was beautiful. Thank you for those prompts. And with that, we want to let you get back to your holidays, but we're excited if you're able to join us live or if you're watching this recording. So happy holidays, happy new year. If you are seeking community, please find us on Facebook, Loving Without Boundaries, Healthy Open Relationships and Lifestyle Freedom. You can also come follow our podcast that's been award-winning. And you can also check out my book, Jealousy Survival Guide, How to Feel Safe, Happy, and Secure in an Open Relationship. That's how B originally found my work. And some of our most cherished clients have read that book and then decided that they wanted more. They wanted to take a deeper dive. So with that, thank you, Coach B, for your time and your attention, and sending lots of love out to all of you. Take care for now.
Bye.